The match started with 2 celebrity amateurs and 4 pros. Now the celebs go back to being famous, while our 2 pros look to secure 1 spot at the final table.
And we're heads up here between Ivey and Lindgren. Phil Ivey on the button. He will act first before the flop and last on every subsequent round of action.
8 deuce of clubs for Eric, queen 8 for Phil Ivey, 5, 6, 7 for your flop. Both players open-ended.
And both players check. Very strange.
And now the 9 of clubs gives both players a straight.
Well, it's just a matter of time until all the money goes in now.
Eric is bet out.
Ivey's going to raise, thinking he has the best hand.
30,000 more.
Ivey raises to 45,000, tripling Eric's bet of 15,000.
40 more.
30 more. Yeah.
40.
Oh, and you're raising 40.
And now Eric with a re-raise. Not quite all in.
I'm all in. I call.
All in.
You got 18.
And Ivey puts them all in, and of course Eric calls very quickly. They both have the same hand, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No damage done to either player's stack.
Bold move.
Ali, who do you like right now?
I think these players are fairly evenly matched, although Phil Ivey seems to be on such a tear in the poker world. And of course, he's got a big chip lead.
And the big chip lead is really the key, although it's not really critical for Erick Lindgren. If Eric can double up one time, this match will be very, very close.
West Virginia, Maryland. West Virginia's top.
Phil Ivey on the button now.
Both these players love to see the flop.
Jack 8 offsuit for Phil, and he limps in. Eric with 9 deuce of spades checks, and we'll see a flop.
Eric gets a free look.
7 king ace now.
Go ahead.
No help for either player. Eric checks. Phil Ivey's going to use the power of position to make a small bet. And look at this. Eric looks like he's going for the check raise with a 9 high, just trying to get Phil Ivey to lay down the hand, and it works.
These 2 players know each other very well, and their competition extends far beyond the felt.
Eric's a better golfer by far right now.
We tend to bet a lot on golf. I think it's a real fun, true test of mind and a little bit of athleticism, hand-eye coordination, and choke. You know, it's easy to choke at golf, so that's a lot of fun.
Hopefully one day, I'll be able to catch him.
Yeah, poker has helped my golf game, but actually nothing can help my golf game. What am I saying? I'm terrible.
He's another great player. I mean, I hate to say it, because I like him so much. I mean, he's a really good friend of mine away from the table. But he's a great player, a great tournament player. He knows what he's doing, and he's not afraid to mix it up. He's not afraid to bluff. He's not, he's just a very talented poker player.
Going to have to rely on that talent here at a severe chip disadvantage.
Well, pocket 9s are a good thing to rely on as well, as he takes a look at them on the button.
Raised to 24,000.
Eric just doubling the blind here. I don't really like that play. I think if he's going to raise it, he needs to raise it a little bit more. There are a lot of scary boards that can come when you have pocket 9s.
Jack 5 for Phil Ivey. He calls, and he flops the jack. King, Jack 8.
And this is one of those scary boards with 2 overcards. It really shuts down Eric's chances of winning this pot.
Both players checked. 7 of hearts on the turn, and both players check again.
4 hearts on the river, no help. Ivey bets 25,000, and it's going to be very difficult for Eric to get away here. After Ivey's checked twice, it's just very unlikely that Ivey's got a hand that will beat 2 9s. Eric may not like it, but I think he's got a call here.
Oh, you might think an 8's good. Yeah, jack.
Yep. Eric does make the call, and Ivey's going to win the pot with 2 jacks.
2 9s. 2 9s. You got 2 9s? Wow. Said you might be value betting an 8.
I might have.
Yeah.
If I'd have checked, you probably would bet.
I think so.
Maybe.
Very well played for Phil Ivey, getting maximum value out of that Jack 5.
Juice it up a little bit.
Huh?
Juice it up a little bit.
What do you mean?
I said that was a. I think I was the only one that caught that. I raised him and said I was going to juice it up, Mary. He didn't get it.
I was the only one that caught that. Nobody
It took
caught
Phil about 4 seconds to get it.
I'm glad Jose didn't get it. I'm afraid to know what would have happened if he did.
Well, we would have lost one of poker's greats. I'm sure of it.
Couple of kings now for Erick Lindgren. He puts in a raise on the button. Phil Ivey calls with 7-5 offsuit.
Eric getting very, very good hands heads up.
Couple of threes and a deuce now. Phil Ivey checks over to Eric. And Eric bets out. Phil lays it down and Eric takes the pot.
Shouldn't have it in my heart to check. How do you get those hands, brother? How do I not have it in my heart to check that?
Barrett checks. He might convince Phil to bluff on the turn there.
Should. How do you get those hands?
I need them. This is the equalizer. Makes it fair. I have to take a stand. I gotta take a stand, man. Can't take it anymore.
9-3 of spades for Phil Ivey. He limps in.
And another good hand for Erick Lindgren. King 10 suited, and he raises big.
He had something that time, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, he had at least a king high.
Read me right.
Scary how well Phil Ivey can read players. We'll see if he can ride that skill and a huge chip lead to a seat at the final table. Las Vegas, Nevada, and the South Point Hotel and Casino, home of the Pro-Am Poker Equalizer. Looking at the chip count with 4 players eliminated, Phil Ivey and Erick Lindgren are doing head-up battle. Ivey with just over $500,000 in chips, and Lindgren with just under $200,000. Jack 3 of diamonds for Erick Lindgren on the button. He limps on in. Queen 10 of diamonds for Phil Ivey. He checks, and we see these two players take a flop yet again. 7-5 king rainbow.
No help to either player. And Eric checks on the button. I'm very surprised. I'd love to see him bet there and try to take this pot away from Phil.
10 of spades on the turn now gives Phil Ivey a pair of 10s.
Phil fires 20,000. That's enough to get Eric to lay down his hand. Eric missed an opportunity there. He could have won this pot if he'd have bet the flop.